Ms. Clerk, please call the next item.
Awards and proclamations. Proclamations tonight are Transgender Day of Visibility, Developmental Disability Awareness Month, and Into the Light Day.
Ms. Clerk, can you please put this in the minutes? I respect the will of this council and my 4 colleagues who voted in favor of the first proclamation, Councilmember Tuttle, Johnson, Ballard, and Hoheisel. Since this is a first for the city of Wichita, and I know each of you is passionate about this, I'm going to yield the floor to any of you who would like to have the honor of reading the first proclamation.
I'm not really sure what's going on here, but being the only council member that wasn't personally asked, it would be my honor because I represent everyone. Mayor, you ran on all... Mayor, you ran on all for Wichita, and it's disappointing you're not showing unity today. I'd like to read the proclamation of the City of Wichita, Kansas, founded in 1870. Whereas Transgender Day of Visibility, celebrated annually on March 31st, honors the resilience, achievements, contributions of individuals who are transgender and gender nonconforming individuals, highlighting their vital role in our community. Whereas fostering visibility and belonging for transgender residents strengthens Wichita's commitment to inclusion of all individuals. Research demonstrates that businesses and communities that prioritize inclusion experience greater economic growth, improved productivity, and faster access to broader market connections. Whereas the City of Wichita values every resident and strives to create an environment where everyone, regardless of gender identity, can thrive, live authentically, and feel a sense of belonging. Whereas visibility is a powerful tool in combating stigma, challenging misconceptions, and embracing a culture of understanding, dignity, respect, ensuring that all citizens feel seen, heard, and valued. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Wichita City Council does hereby proclaim March 31st, 2025 as Transgender Day of Visibility in the City of Wichita, and encourage all citizens to celebrate the contributions of transgender residents, advocate for inclusion, and work towards building a more equitable and prosperous community for all. I'd like to ask whoever would like to accept the proclamation to come down for a picture and invite any of my colleagues that would like to join me. And it appears this hasn't been signed, so I'm going to go ahead and sign it. Would you like to share a few words?
Yes. Thank you. Hi. Transgender Day of Visibility is an opportunity for all of us to celebrate transgender people across history and culture. But even as we celebrate, we find ourselves under attack. There are elected officials in both Topeka and Washington who have dedicated themselves to destroying transgender identity and removing it from the public square, retreating instead into middle school science and magical thinking. They would have you believe that trans existence is both a fantasy and a crime. And while some of them, many of them, do it with malice in their hearts, many others do it out of fear of the different or of the unfamiliar. But whatever the reason, the war that is being waged on the transgender community across our state and our nation is doing real damage to our families and friends and neighbors and colleagues right here in Wichita. I think we're going to take a picture in a few moments. And I think that illustrates my bigger point here, I think, really well, because I think there's something fascinating about capturing the confluence of an eternity of events in a single image. Case in point, all of us have different backgrounds, experiences, and stories. All of us have taken different paths, so to speak, to get to these chambers here tonight. And yet, here we all are, all together. And we're going to get a picture to prove it. Now, I'd invite you to consider in a similar way photographs of Nazi book burnings, like this one that I hold here. These government-sanctioned book burns included specifically content about transgender people, reducing generations of knowledge and history to smoldering ash. This image, this fleeting moment, captured forever, is the culmination of a lifetime of the intentional and the well-intentioned, the savage and the silent. In the words of the indomitable Marsha P. Johnson, history is not something that you look back at and say, it was inevitable. It happens because people make decisions. Now, there are no book-fueled bonfires burning in Old Town Square tonight, and there isn't yet a pink triangle on your gay son's Gold Star ID, but there are those in this room and on this bench who would rather forget that we have been there and we can be again. I'll leave you with this. There exists a well-known adage, be the adult you needed as a child. And when I was a child, I desperately needed to know that I wasn't alone and that there was space for me to exist. And so I stand here tonight, not only as a trans woman, but also as a college graduate, a small business owner, and a military veteran. And I stand here as visible as possible to let that girl who is watching this at home on her bedroom TV know that even though she is scared to death to live her truth, that she is not alone and that there is a future for her. I want to thank a majority of the members of the Wichita City Council for giving me this opportunity and for being not only allies, but accomplices, actively aiding and abetting in the official recognition of transgender people and our right to exist the same as every Wichitan. And to those who would stand in opposition or even turn a blind eye in hopes of trans people just going away, time will tell your story. And in fact, it already has. A world without transgender people has never existed, and it never will. And erasing us from government websites and educational curriculum and professional institutions does not mean that we are not here. It simply means that you are afraid. Happy Transgender Day of Visibility, Wichita and Kansas, and transgender people everywhere. Thank you.